What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. I was actually just on the way to the house to record a video on this 300ZX, and I saw this guy drifting around, so I figured we would hop on some doors, try and get some tandems, first tandems of the year here on Forza Horizon 5. We are going to be taking a look at the customization as well as the tuning here on the ZX, and then we're going to drive this thing around the map a little bit so you guys can see what it can do, although I guess we're already starting with some decent clips, so I guess without any further ado, let's head up to the house so I can take you guys through this build. Alright guys, so here we are pulling into the Casabella house. This is actually the first house that you unlock in Forza Horizon 5. Now, I do think this is one of the best houses or one of the best locations you can have for testing out a drift car, and I'm going to show you guys why in a second. But first, we're going to be going through this entire RB swap 300ZX build. We're going to start with the customization here. We're going to look on into our conversions. There is no wide body kit, although there are engine swaps. We ended up with the RB26 swap, but you have the typical Nissan swaps in here as well. Of course, where it's a drift car, no drivetrain swap. We kept the rear wheel drive going. Now we're looking into the body kits here. There's actually a lot more options than there were on the Supra or the S14. We went with the Duloc front bumper, but there is Wings West, which was quite tempting. And then we got Stillen as well as the Forza wide body kit, and then stock as well. So stock's up here, but we went with the Duloc kit here. For our wing guys, we left the stock option. We almost went with the Duloc wing, although I do like the stock option a little bit better. We got Stillen as well for the large boy. We got Forza for the good old Forza wing, and then we have Nissan as well as a nice stock option with no wing at all. Obviously, I was digging the stock wing, so we left that on there. We got rear bumper guys is going to be Stillen. We got the Wings West option as well as stock here, and then Duloc as well. I just like the look of the Stillen. I thought it was cleanest. For side skirts, we're running Stillen as well. There really wasn't a side skirt option that I love. The Duloc looks like a jet wing. Stillen's got kind of like an earlobe to it, and then Wings West has this like really 90s style vent to it. So we went with the earlobe, I guess was the cleanest look out of all of them. And then for our hood guys, we are running a carbon VIS hood here. We did have the stock option, which looks super clean, but I did like having that hood scoop. And then we got the paint to match the carbon so that you wouldn't really tell it's carbon unless you're looking. We're gonna head into our wheel section next, guys. We are running drift tires as usual with these drift builds. I'm really digging the drift tires this year. And then for our width, we did go to a 245 squared on this car, so front and rear. For wheels, guys, we're running some good old work wheels once again. What section are they in? This one? There they are. Section 2, Workmeister CR01s. We do have these scaled up just a little bit, guys. We're running 18s front and rear, and our track width is all the way out, mostly for looks. Heading into our drivetrain, guys, we got the clutch upgraded all the way. We have the race transmission for individual control over our gears. Our driveline is going to be upgraded all the way, and our differential is going to be the race diff, or sorry, the drift diff once again. For brakes, we're all the way upgraded here, guys. We do have the drift suspension for that extra steering angle. We're running roll bars front and rear, so we have control over that. There is no chassis reinforcement, and the car is gutted all the way. Heading into our engine mods here, guys, we do have the intake upgraded all the way. Our fuel system is going to be stock. Ignition is going to be the second option here. Exhaust is going to be upgraded all the way. Our camshaft is going to be upgraded all the way as well. For valves, we have the third option too. Our displacement is going to be upgraded all the way. Pistons and compression is going to be upgraded all the way too. Turbos are going to have a level 1 upgrade for just a little bit more power. Our intercooler is going to stay stock, so is oil and cooling, and our flywheel is stock as well, and we are running 672 horsepower with 508 foot-pounds of torque on this engine. Now, this is an RB swap. It sounds absolutely vicious. It's super cool and super fun to drive around the map, so let's head out there. Alright guys, so here we are just outside that first house. We're in this city here. I do want to show you guys where we're at on the map in case you haven't unlocked this house yet, but I do think that this is one of the most underrated cities as far as drift spots in the game. Now I do want to show you guys why I feel that way, but first let's take a look at the tune before we get too far ahead of ourselves. We got our tire pressure at 25 and 35. Gearing I know looks super weird, especially 4th, 5th, and 6th, but I'm going to show you guys how they kind of work when we're driving at higher speeds. For alignment, we got -4 and -1.8 for camber. Our toe is going to be all the way out up front and 0.8 in the rear. Casters all the way up. Roll bars are going to be 10 and 1. Springs are 469.1 and 468. Lowered all the way, of course. Damping is going to be 6.6 and 4.5. Bump stiffness is going to be 7.7 and 6.9, which I believe are stock. Aero we didn't touch because we don't have any. Brake is going to be 30% and 75%, and then our diff is going to be 185. So heading back out here into free mode, guys, I do want to show you some of the drift spots that you can get in this city because I do think it's super underrated and hasn't gotten enough appreciation, especially where you have the first house right next to it. This can really be a valuable place to test your drift cars. So a lot of 4th gear action in this car, that's for sure. When you're drifting a tighter section like this one, you can definitely get down into 2nd and 3rd, but you're pretty much going to be running 2nd, 3rd, 4th with maybe a little bit of 5th if you really need it in spots like the city. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, really super valuable in these tighter spots. Now, one of the reasons why I really like this city though is because you can get a whole bunch of different spots around the city, or in addition to the fact that you can get a whole bunch of spots around the city, you can drive right out here and test some higher speed drift zones too, which is really, really cool. So this road right here is one of my favorites, and I mentioned it in the Super video, but it's pretty good, man. It's not quite as good as the Volcano run, but it really is super valuable, especially to have super close to a house. This road is really something else. So it starts pretty much right here. You get a nice big entry in, little 5th gear action. Now 4th, 5th, and 6th are definitely pretty close to each other as far as gear ratios, but I think you guys should drive it in C, because as you guys can see, it's super valuable to be able to switch between 4th and 5th, even though those are the two closest gears to each other value-wise. They really do help. 5th really helps to extend corners like this so that you don't really have to correct or straighten out, which is huge. And then when you're building up speed like this, 5th can even get up into 6th for big sends. Kind of drag our brake and our handbrake a little bit there, try and get some angle out of it, try and extend the corner. So 5th gear really juicing there. 4th would have been topped out, but then you really want 4th in sections like this. I really feel like 5th would have bogged down. Then you want 5th through here, try and extend. So I know the gearing looks whack on paper, but I definitely think you guys should drive it before you knock it, because the gears are feeling pretty good, especially when you need them out here to extend some of these longer sections. So now the suspension is a little softer on this car. I found as I was tuning it that it liked to float out and spin out a lot easier than the other two cars that I have tuned so far, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if maybe the model or the physics is just different on this car, but I definitely struggled in getting this thing to grip up in a way that wasn't detrimental to the length of the slides, right? And so I think I got a pretty good balance going now. It's got some pretty nice, long, smooth slides going, but I think the driving and the tuning probably still has room for improvement, you know? Always will. So once again, guys, if you are a drifting or tuning pro in Forza Horizon, please let me know what I could do better as far as either driving or tuning these cars, because I am having so much fun tuning different cars and trying to get better, learning different sections and how to link them. And I don't know, it's a fun challenge to hop into this game from Car X and kind of relearn tuning on a different physics system, especially with so many customization options and different cars and stuff. You guys all know why we love Forza, but I am going to run this road back one more time because I feel like it does flow a little bit better in reverse, and I wanted to show you guys this road for sure. Like I said, one of my favorite roads in the game, up there with the mountain run for sure. It just seems to flow a little bit better this way. I don't know if it's because more of it's downhill or what, but the reverse is super nice, especially in this Z. I wanted to design a car that was a little bit higher power and something that was a little bit more fun to freestyle around roads like this. I feel like the S14 and the Supra, although they definitely serve their purposes really well, the S14 for city drifting and the Supra for being at the volcano and things like that, I didn't really have a car that was super fun to just whip the e-brake and send around when we were driving around the map. And so I went with the Z for that style build, which, as you guys can see, definitely likes to be thrown around and has a little bit more power and can keep the momentum going a little bit better for freestyles. Honestly, I think if I were to build another higher power car, I could probably get it up into the 700, 750 range to really build some power and get these things extending. But I wanted a good balance. I didn't want this thing to be all speed. I didn't want it to feel necessarily like a comp car either. I still wanted to be able to get good angle and hold some nice long drifts through these corners as we found them. So it's really meant to be sort of like a faster jack of all trades, I suppose you could say. And I think we hit the nail on the head pretty well. I think if I could fix one thing about this tune, and definitely let me know if you guys have any suggestions for this, it seems like the Supra would hold bigger angle longer, and I guess I just sort of attributed that to being wide body and having a wider track width. But I like to think that there's some way to tune that back into this car and get it handling a little bit better on those long extensions. Places like, I don't know, it's doing pretty well for me now, so maybe I'm just blowing smoke. I'll show you guys what I mean up here. So if I were to come down through here, I don't know, like right there, it just feels like it didn't want to rotate and stick or hold anymore. It just feels like it's a little bit shallow, like it doesn't want to hold to a huge angle. So I guess that's my one complaint with this car, but other than that, this thing is super stellar. And I mean, because of the increased power, and I think the softer suspension helps with this a lot too, it just is a lot better at linking long corners than the first two tunes, which I think was something that I really wanted to figure out with this tune for sure. I'm gonna see if I can find a better way to show you guys kind of the holding angle problem. But obviously I'm nitpicking at that point, guys. The car feels great. Let's be real. It feels so much better than the first two tunes. And like I said, the name of the game is just improving every time, right? Is making these tunes better and better as I hop on the sidewalk and almost spin out. But both the driving and the tuning, I'm trying to get better each time. This is a nice little section here, the one we opened with. But yeah, just trying to improve, get the tunes and the driving better each time. I'm definitely trying to have diverse builds, especially with this Z. I wanted something that could drift in a nice tight section like this, but then also go out and kill it on some of the higher speed sections in the road, and I think we got that pretty well. So I think that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy today's video or found it useful at all, feel free to leave a like down below, subscribe for more just like it, and let me know in the comments what I can do better. I want to get better at drifting on this game, and I need your help. Again, guys, if you made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.